people who have threaded the path, and for them, they seem to be very buoyant. They seem not to be worried about anything. Okay, give you an example. There was a guy who I met in 2002, and he said he had 3 properties: one in Bagada, one in Sulere, and one in Ogba. But he lives in Yaba. And so I told him, I said, so why are you not living in your own house? He said, living in your own house is luxury. That instead, he will build 4 flats and live in one and let other people live in the other 3. And the 3 people will be sustaining his lifestyle. Instead of build a mansion with the space he would have used to build the 4 flats.
Sure.
And with more people that I came to meet, sensible people, I found out that some of them were living that life. There's a guy who has 2 properties in VGC. Moshe has 3 properties in VGC. He lives in a studio flat in Ikoyi.
Wow.
Now, everybody in VGC sustains his lifestyle.
Okay.
So his investment is growing, and he said he doesn't like tying money down. He said instead of buy a property and you are living in the house like you are at Denuga, why not build that property into blocks of flats? Let several people be paying, and then you find one place that's convenient. My other early learning for with real estate is buying land. There was a quote that said, "My son, buy land, they don't make them anymore." Well, except in Lagos where there's some field. But anyway, it's still land all the same. And from all those experiences that I've had, it then made sense to me to make sure that I did not lose track of the fact that any property you buy now will continue to increase. For instance, I was telling a guy some 2 years ago, was it 2 years or just after COVID, 2020, he had done some businesses and he had about 180 million and he wanted to buy a Range Rover. And I told him, I said, why not just buy a Prado? Buy a fairly used Prado, Tokunboh Prado, and buy a property with the rest of the money. He said, no, that he wants to buy a Range. I said, just do it. Then later you can then buy the Prado. So he listened to me. So he bought 2 properties in the Ikeja axis for 65 million. And he renovated and then let them out. His friend who wanted him to buy a Range Rover too sold the Range Rover. That's 3 years after, 2020, last year. Sold the Range Rover last year for 30 million.
Oh, wow.
That he bought for 132.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Okay, now, the properties that he bought for 65 are now being valued for 130 each.
Wow.
So that's how you know that in real estate just keeps giving. Even if the value depreciates, it will not depreciate more than what you bought it for.
Correct. Real estate keeps giving.
Of course.
I think we've gotten something else. The fact that, because most times when we sell properties or what we get to see, buy, you can live in for your children, but you just stated a very salient point, which is, the example you gave, the person bought, he lived in a flat and then
let the other house work for him.
Exactly.
So the thing is, what he even says is, unless his tenants go broke or the property is demolished by the state government, he's on basic salary every month. And then he also does something. He taught me something. Instead of when they pay you money, you just begin to spend it. So they pay him money, he puts it in a fixed deposit and pays himself something every month.
Wow.
And then he's also still looking out for any other development that he wants to buy. So, and this guy has properties. He's bought land in several places, 10 hectares, 15 hectares, in places that development has not hit yet. You understand? There was a place he bought land, and he found out that the place they sold the land to him has sharp sand. And so in the last 5-7 years, the amount of sharp sand he's bought there is more than the money he bought the land with.
Oh my God.
So that's it.
Oh my God.
And he then told me that he found out that some people were talking about dredging the front of their waterfront. And he went to meet them, and they've agreed for him. And if people have checked to find that they have sharp sand in there. So he's going to buy a dredger, put the